Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. You know, I love to be right, but in some ways I love even more to be wrong. I'm just going to give one opinion, and I'm not going to play it safe on this channel. I tell my students all the time, you have to take risks in life. So many content creators want to be an imitation of somebody they've seen. And nobody wants that, because guess what? A better version of what you're trying to do already exists. But the best version, and maybe even the first version of you, hasn't existed yet. And so this channel has been one of those where if everybody zigs, sometimes I zag. But sometimes I feel like I zig with everybody else and somebody waits to zag me. That's the case in today's video, because when I discussed the decorate your team with red and green 7-star crystal selector, or a 6-star abyss nexus for those of you, and I guess I shouldn't say abyss nexus. It feels like your soul went into the abyss on Christmas if you bought this deal, but it is a regular nexus, not an abyss nexus, for uncollected. Throne breakers and even cavalier players may have felt like they got a little bit better than usual, but then again, if uncollected is the cutoff and then Paragon goes in, then actually uncollected would be the biggest beneficiary progression of the minimum progression of this. So into the 7-star red and green bundle, and it was 6,000 units. And I always like to wait to discuss these offers once they have left the building, so you aren't tempted to watch this video and then purchase something with units you don't have. Now, part of the reason why I thought it was a terrible offer is because even though I have a small, pathetic 95,000 points in the Banquet event with about a week left in it, and I definitely will, by the time this is over, spend enough to get all the milestones, but probably not much past that. I don't care if it's the difference between a 1% or a 5%. Even though some of you really, really do with these rank rewards, some of you have said openly that the difference between the 1% and the 5%, which for the record, if you get the top 1% of this event, you're getting 2 6-star Nexus and 5,000 7-star shards. You're getting that 6-star rare champion selector, 1,000 Titan crystal shards, and then maybe what some people think is the most important, the 6-star rank up gem crystal from rank 4 to rank 5, which I think everybody could use. And then you get the 3 to 4 as well. The 2 tier 6 class catalyst selectors, again, between that and the plus 200 6 stones, that might be worth it because it drops off dramatically after this. You go from 200 6 stones to 20 class based to 2 to 3. Still the 6-star generic, which is not much. You lose the 4 to 5 as well. So yeah, in terms of the top, the 1%, which is of course right below the top 2,600, which also the difference between that and the 1% is, significant in terms of an extra tier 6 class catalyst selector. Look at all these rank up materials, and then of course you have the Abyss Nexus on top of that, which I feel like is not much. But anyhow, if you think that you're going to be close to that top 1% and you spend 6,000 units that you could be spending on Greater Banquet crystals on a 7-star green or red, aka a class-based skill or science crystal, you may have regrets. And so I said absolutely not. For what this could be in terms of a trade in points, I would actually give that offer an F. But my man, PSP742, said, I want to awaken my OG Hulk. Now, I do too. And I talked about how if there was one pool that I would go for, it would be the exact pool that he's going for. But the odds of landing an awakened or just specific at all champion in this are so slim that it seems like it would be almost impossible to land on this champion. And I really do think that this is not something that anybody should try at home. But he did it. He recorded it. and he sent it over. All he cares about is OG Hulk. Couple of Titanias. There's Hulk, Overseer, Joe Fixit, Mr. Negative, Joe Fixit again. There's Hulk, and it actually stops. If he had landed on Joe Fixit, my guess is he would have been depressed. But instead, he can hit me up and say, hey, Prof, for me, this was worth it. And yeah, if you basically treated this like a 7-star selector of that specific class, then sure. But for every one person that this happened to, there'd be 100 people who would get a champion they don't want or don't need. And that, combined with the trade-off of what you're giving up for spending the equivalent of 20 greater Banquet crystals worth of points to both purchase and open them, is just not worth it at all. But at the same time, I like when somebody zags when I zig, and they hit me up and say, hey, Prof, I respect your analysis, but in this case, you're wrong. And it's hard to argue with it, just as long as we all recognize that this is almost impossible, and you should not expect this on your own account. So, PSP742, thank you for the data. This was a lot of fun to watch. Very impossible odds. Hit right here.